In high school coaching, a lot of the good stories come after the game. Sit back, watch, and listen to the journeys to the sideline and the stories of high school coaches. After the Game, presented by Baker Sports and High School 912.
Welcome to After the Game. I'm Josh Baker here with episode 1 and my first guest and future co-host, Coach Kevin Sullivan. Welcome, Coach.
Hey, good to be here. This is going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, we've created a little show here to talk about everything that happens, before the game, but definitely after the game. And, we wanted to kind of share the conversations that we've had, whether it be in the field house or the locker room, and just kind of bring that to the masses here today. So, Coach, thank you for joining us.
Oh, yeah, definitely, Josh. This is looking forward to it. I think a lot of people, they think that coaches, they just come and go and roll the balls out and they don't prepare and practice. And people don't know how, unless you've been involved in athletics, how much time and energy goes into everything, week in, week out, off season, summer, and everything nowadays is just so blown up with social media. So really looking forward to sort of getting the ins and out of what we're doing. Absolutely.
And I'm looking forward to sharing, what I've had access to for 27 years of, selling you guys and being in the field house and in the locker room and the stories. And the good part of my job, what I like is to sit there and, have a good conversation and hear the stories from you guys. So let's get started.
All right.
So grew up in South Florida.
Yep.
Played for the legendary Coach Smith at St. Thomas.
Yep, all of us, my brothers, me, my whole sister, we're all St. Thomas people.
Okay. A lot of success when you were there?
Just started getting going. My brother's senior year, my freshman year was the year that sort of made the big move. That was, I think, Coach Smith's second or third year, and really good group of people, really good lot of learning, a lot of fun, a lot of crazy stories down there.
Yeah. So in addition to football now, you wrestled as well?
Yes. Yeah, and coach wrestling for a bunch of years too.
Okay. Even taking wrestling past high school?
Yes. Yeah, Catawba College. I left when I went to school. I went to Catawba College in Salisbury, North Carolina. For a year, they dropped a program, and then I came home and got on this crazy coaching train.
All right. So how did the coaching train start? How did it get started?
So when I came home from Catawba, I was working at St. Jerome's doing PE, like part-time, 3 hours a day for like $15 an hour, and going to school in the morning, and Coach Smith called me up and said, "Hey, man, you're home. I need you to come and coach a freshman for me." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, Coach, whatever. What do I do?" He goes, "Just come by and see me." So I went by and saw him, and next thing I know, I'm coaching the freshman football at St. Thomas, and just being around all those guys that were sort of my coaches that were there. They've been there a long time. That whole staff, a lot of those guys didn't leave back then. And sort of got the bug. I always knew I was going to coach, even from when I was younger. It was just something I knew I was going to teach and coach. That was always going to be something I was going to do. I just didn't know I'd get started back there at St. Thomas.
Yeah, you talk about Coach Smith being your mentor, right?
Right.
Getting into coaching, enjoyed playing for him. What about Coach Smith made you just love it?
Well, I think it was just his relationship with everybody, came off as this real hard-nosed, hard-ass, old-school guy, but he would do anything for you, especially early on. I mean, there was we didn't drink no water. There ain't no water on that practice field back in those days. And, I was just a little old bitty thing. My brother was a starter on the varsity. I'm a ninth grader. I'm getting drilled. I'm holding dummies, whatever. We all practice together. And just a little word here and there, like, "Hey, man, you did a great job today on that drill." Or, as you walk by, like, you don't even think he noticed you type of thing. And just that impact of him just speaking to me as a little freshman. I wasn't going to be I was 125 pounds maybe at that time. And but I think that sort of the thing that I carried that with me through my whole career of always recognizing the kids, the good kids, the bad kids, the kids that were just out there. But yeah, that's probably one of the biggest things I took away from him.
Right. And throughout, his career, he developed probably what is the ultimate coaching tree in Florida football history.
Yes.
So some of you guys that came from that tree, legendary coaches.
Yeah, and the thing about coach that's been interesting, like my path was went public school with a private school background. I understand the private school more than probably anybody that's not in the private school. And I think he once told me like a few years ago as he was getting out, he says that he was proud of me because I had sort of gone on my own path. I went on my own path, was successful in some of the not schools people don't want to go to and take those jobs. And he always thought it was sort of cool, and that I went out on my own path where a lot of guys stayed down there and stayed in the private school sector and that. And yeah, that was sort of cool. When he told me that, that was like one of the big proud moments for me.
Absolutely. Mentor gives you props. You got to cherish that moment.
Yeah, without a doubt. All
right, so you start your coaching career at St. Thomas.
Yep.
Move around, getting experience from a couple other spots, and then the head coaching opportunity comes about.
Yeah, so I took the head job. I was it's funny, I was 27 years old, took the head coaching job at Deerfield Beach High School. I had been at Lincoln, finishing at Florida State, and coached at Lincoln for Steve Harden, another one of my mentors, another hard-nosed guy that taught me a lot of things about organization and film breakdown and stuff. And so I ended up, was an assistant at Deerfield when I graduated for 2 years. Left and went to Ocala. We got married, and we wanted to sort of get out, might be on our own, and took a job at Lake Weir for Joe Register, another hard-ass type of guy, hard-nosed guy. Learned a lot about offense from him with small numbers. I mean, I think my last year there we dressed 29, 30 kids, won 8 games. I was on the defensive side of the ball then. My background was defense. And then when I went to Deerfield as the head coach, it was I laughed because I knew absolutely nothing. I just thought it was like, we're going to coach ball, we're going to lift weights, we're going to eat 24/7, eat, drink, sleep. This is football. This is what we're going to do. We're winning the state championship. And, all that stuff. I knew nothing, nothing. And everybody laughed because, especially now in the Twitter world, new head coaches are on Twitter like, hey, if you could give me one piece of advice, or if you could give me this, or we didn't have that. I had George Smith to talk to and a couple other guys that I knew were assistant coaches down there, and then we sort of built our staff at Deerfield, and we were fortunate. We won.
Had a lot of success.
Yes.
Early.
Yeah, really fortunate. I think it was because I was not going to be outworked. I may not have known the greatest X's and O's guys. I ran the offense for the first time in my life because I thought, heck, we're going to be judged on offense. Steve Allen, who's one of my friends, who's been in Volusia County a lot of years, head coach at DeLand, Warner Christian. He was with me. We spent 8 years together there and then in Daytona. But yeah, a lot of fun. It accumulated with the Final Four appearance, losing to Peter Warwick in the Final Four, Braden Southeast on the road. So it was a lot of fun down there.
And there was something else special about that semifinal appearance, right? You were telling me earlier. So that was the first year, the runner-up.
Yes, yeah. So in '92, everybody's like 92. Yeah, 1992. My third year as a head coach, we won the district at Deerfield for the first time in 15 years. Had a really good group of kids, went a couple rounds deep, and came back and returned a bunch of kids. We got upset by Ely, who was in our district, who's a big rival for us. And we finished 7-3, and it was the first year they let the runner-up in. So going into the year, I'm like, oh, we shouldn't let the runner-up in. That's terrible. Well, we ended up getting in as the runner-up.
And it's a different one. Greatest
I'm like,
whoever.
Oh, this is great. I love this. And so we got in as the runner-up and went on the road and played the number 3 team, Olympic Heights, who was 10-0 on the road, beat them. Played Hollywood Hills the next week. They had upset St. Thomas, so we didn't have to go through that because they beat us the year before in '92 in 21-19 game. And then went to Cape Coral. They were undefeated, ranked 5th in the state. On the road, beat them, scored twice in the last 6 minutes to win 12-10.
Oh, wow.
And then ended up going on the road to Braden and Southeast the next year and lost it was 8-0 with 6 minutes left, or 6-0 with 8 minutes left in the game. And we ended up losing, I believe, 21-0 or something like that. Had to go for it on 4th down, tried to do something.
And that was a loaded Southeast team, right?
Oh, a loaded. So that group of Southeast and our team, we went back and looked a couple years later. There were 21 Division I kids on the field that night on both sides, talking about kids that were sophomores that played, kids that were juniors that played. Peter Warwick was, of course, the mainstay. We had a kid named Carlo Joseph that played at University of Miami, a big offensive tackle. Jeff Wilson ended up playing D tackle at Ohio State off that team. Really good group of kid, and was the first group that we had in 9th grade and built it the way it was. And learned a lot about a lot of things as a young head coach.
Sure, just thrown right into the fire.
Right in the fire
Right in
and
the fire.
winning games and just trying to do it right. That was always
Right.
the main thing. I never wanted to sort of cut corners. I always tried to do it the right way and always did it for what was the best interest of the overall program.
More with Josh and Coach Sullivan when we come back on After the Game, including one of the legends from Jacksonville, Leon Washington, and how he and Coach Sully put Main Street on the map. Coach Kevin Sullivan was inducted into the Florida Athletic Coaches Association Hall of Fame in 2015, and in 2022, Jackson recognized the Hall of Fame coach by naming their field after Coach Kevin Sullivan. New to town or always been in town, everyone is always looking for a good pizza place. Our place is Donato's Pizza. We love it and still do love it. When I tell my family I'm coming to Donato's, they say, wait a minute, you got to order some for us. So this is not all for me. Let me tell you what the Martinos get when we put an order in. Well, pepperoni pizza, we usually get more than one of these. And then there's the works, a little bit of everything. And then this is the pizza that can be polarizing for some out there. I don't know why. Hawaiian pizza, some love it, some don't. At Donato's, you're gonna love it, especially with that cinnamon sprinkled on top. Try the pizza my family likes or try your favorite. Right now, you can use the code Brent20 and get 20% off your order. Every viewer and listener is important to us, and at Donato's Pizza, every piece is important. From fresh ingredients to the dedicated team members and you, the valued customer. Donato's Pizza, where every piece comes together for a winning combination. Jack's Beach and Mandarin locations. Donato's Pizza, every piece is important.
People helping people is at the core of what Alive Credit Union is all about, and it's been that way for over 70 years. From 1954 to 2024, the mission remains to inspire financial wellness and give you a financially fit lifestyle. Alive Credit Union and its employees are committed to not only serving their valued members, but also our community here in Northeast Florida. That commitment includes a partnership with the Action Sports Jax 24/7 team as the presenting sponsor of all Armada men's and women's broadcasts this summer. Action Sports Jax and Alive Credit Union, a partnership that just makes sense when it comes to covering Northeast Florida. Alive Credit Union's commitment to our community also involves serving the financial needs of our first responders through the recent merger partnership with City and Police Federal Credit Union. Join the community and become a member of Alive Credit Union today. Find out the many ways you can be inspired in financial wellness at alivecu.coop.
In high school coaching, a lot of the good stories come after the game. Sit back, watch, and listen to the journeys to the sideline and the stories of high school coaches. After the Game, presented by Baker Sports and High School 912.
Have success down there at Deerfield. Now it's time to move north. You start the journey north. And
So we had our first, my daughter was born. My wife and I, we decided maybe we don't want to raise our kids in South Florida. A lot of things going on, changing. We'd both grown up in there. I'd been out of there. She'd never been out of there. So we took a job at Atlantic High School in Port Orange, opened it brand new. And, was able to bring a staff and build a good staff there and had some pretty good success for a new school. Mm-hmm. And a lot of fun, learned a lot, changed my a little bit philosophy because I had kids at the time. And as a coach, when you have your own kids, it changes you as a coach. You maybe not as, I won't say driven, but maybe you're not as a hard ass as you would have been when you come home.
Meetings are 2 hours instead of 3.
Yes.
Little changes.
Yeah, little changes, little bit of that, but was a really good experience at that time there. And like I said, we had some good success, made the playoffs with that group of kids, and really close to some of those guys. Actually, I had 3 kids playing the NFL off those teams.
But completely different experience from Deerfield, I'm assuming. Completely different type of kid, area. So everything about the school is completely different.
Yeah, completely different as far as the coaching, and that's always the same.
Right. And
how we prepare and the grind that we do. But as far as what we were trying to do, Steve Allen, we laughed because we had that spring we went up like a Friday and practiced after school and Saturday morning. And we get out to first practice, we get in the car, and he's like, "What the hell are we doing here? We were just playing the state semifinals, and we're up here. We ain't got a kid on the team can play for us at Deerfield Beach."
And the best part about Steve is you never have to wonder what he's thinking.
No.
He tells you exactly what he's thinking.
No, I can tell you a funny story about Steve Allen. So we're in at Atlantic, and we're playing. We get in as the runner-up. We're 4-6. My third year. Now, we've lost to 6 teams that are all in the playoffs.
Okay.
But we're 4-6. We're in as the runner-up. And we go to Groveland, Southlake. They're 10-0, third in the state, and we go to Groveland. So we're in the game, and middle of the game, all of a sudden I hear, "Hey, what are you doing?" I go, "What do you mean? We're kicking a field goal here." I said, we're up 7-0, or it was 7-7. He goes, "Okay, coach, send him out." We had a real good kicker, went to UMass. Kid goes out, bombs a 52-yard field goal. And I'm like, "What do you mean, Steve, 52? Kev, that was 52 yards. Oh, shoot, I thought we were on the 25. We were on the 35? And he goes, "Yeah, but he made it. It was great." So later on in the game, they're driving to try to get in field goal range, and all of a sudden, I have the press box. Steve's in the press box. And I hear, hey, principals cheat too. I'm like, "Stevie, what's going on?" He goes, "I don't know. This MFer's in here. He's trying to tell me, and he tells me he's the principal." I'm like, "Well, principals cheat too. Get out of the press box." So that's Steve Allen. He tells you exactly what's on his mind.
That's a great story. It's typical Steve Allen. So the new program at Atlantic, I mean, no traditions. You have to create traditions.
Yes.
How was that? How difficult was that? Because I've always thought, we've opened at Baker's, we've opened a bunch of new schools and sold to them. It just always seems like that's very difficult, is to start the traditions.
Yeah, so there it was interesting. So what we did there, and we did it at Atlantic Coast also, but I created a what we called the first board. So in the gym at Atlantic High School is first penalty, first touchdown, first interception, first block field, Right. It's on the board, and they ended up getting it up and putting it up. I don't know how many years after we left, but it was really cool because it's like the tradition up there. Like we got it done, we had it done before we left, and so that was sort of neat. So it was sort of like our own, like, hey, this is how we do this, and this is what we do here, and this is how we get ready to prep, and you guys are in this room and we meet, so all that stuff that we did those 4 years that we were there was sort of neat, sort of like, we were always big on where we ate our pregame meal and how we presented ourselves and those kind of things. And it was a good time. It was a really good time. And when I left, it was time for me to go, for some things happened in the building. As far as the vision of what we started there sort of changed as we went through it. And I thought, maybe it's time for me to go and go somewhere else.
That's funny. It's kind of a side topic here, but that's always something we talk about. In order to have a successful program, I don't care what sport it is, you have to have support from the top.
Oh, without a doubt.
The administration is just as important, if not more important, than the coaching staff and the boosters and everything else. And you see it. I mean, you look at a successful program, I promise you they've got administrative support. Yeah,
without a doubt. And that's big. And a lot of times it starts out that way, and then all of a sudden you start to win. And now the attention gets taken away from the school per se and the program now and your sports program. And like we always tell everybody, look, man, the greatest dropout prevention is athletics and band and different clubs and things at the schools. That's what the kids,
Absolutely.
Hey, 10-year, 15-year reunion. You don't talk about English class or math class or whatever. You talk about that game we beat Baker County or that game we beat Mainland, or you know what I mean? And so those are the things that you, as a player, remember.
It's the experience.
Yes.
That's the experience.
Right. And so a lot of times, and administrators out there, I know y'all do a great job and everything, but a lot of times you're your own worst enemy.
That's right. The focus goes completely off of
completely off the sports.
And sports becomes an enemy, for even in some cases.
Yes, yeah. without a doubt. And it's just the nature of it. I mean,
right.
I don't know why. I've never been a big ego guy, so I'm the same in every room I've ever been in as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, hopefully you've known me 20 years,
Absolutely.
And I'm the same that I was then that I am now. I might have been a little bit dumber back then, but we all were when we were younger. But,
That's right.
I think that happens a lot.
Yeah. All right, so 4 good years at Atlantic. Have
Yep.
some success. It's time to move even further north.
Yes.
So what brings you to Jacksonville?
So at the time, we going at Atlantic, we had some staff issues. Like guys thought maybe they were a little bit more important than I was and that kind of stuff. So when I left there, I wanted to find a program where I could like settle in and make a big difference. Right. And so the Jackson thing. So it's funny. I interviewed Baker County back then. I thought I was going to get the job because we'd played them the year before at Atlantic when George Dean was there. And so I thought, oh, man, maybe, this would be cool. Small environment, something different, community stuff. But it didn't.
Yeah.
It didn't.
Well, you lost out to the local guy, right?
Yes.
Carl West came home.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So I ended up taking the Jackson job.
Right.
And a lot of people, and I get a funny story, and I laugh with Troy now. Troy Douglas, college recruiter, he comes in my first spring and says, "What the hell are you doing taking this job?"
Right.
And he says, "You can't win here." And that bothered me more than anything anybody had ever said to me.
Because at that time, Jackson was the other school on the north side.
Jackson was about the 4th other school. They had 14 straight losing seasons when I got there in 98. And I've always said when I take a job or when I coach somebody, I want that experience to be a great part of their high school experience. And these kids weren't having a great high school experience.
Right.
And it's not easy. It's never going to be perfect all the time, no matter where you go. But you've got to create your program where those kids want to be there and enjoy playing for you. Hopefully you win along the way. And so when he said that to me, that really bothered me. I took that to heart. I was like, you know what? I'm going to show this guy. And Troy and I've talked, he's still coaching. I think he's at Howard now. But him and I talked about
He wasn't
that.
the only one saying that.
No. And plus, Jack Schenkel that hired me went out on a limb and brought in an outsider. For years and years in this area, they just recycle guys. And, I was a little different because I had success. It was my 3rd head coaching job. I'd been a head coach for 8 years when I went there. So even though we didn't have the greatest facilities, or I showed up and the uniforms were still on the floor in a pile dirty from November when I got there in March, I just looked at it as like, hey, this is the challenge, and this is what we got, and this is what we're going to do. And, I didn't know any better.
Is that what drew you to the job, though? You start at Deerfield, right?
Right.
Athletes.
Right.
You got athletes, got to figure out how to coordinate it and get them on the field
and
win, right? Then you go to the new school.
Yep.
Now I've got the new school. I started up, and then Jackson was the 3rd completely different experience.
Completely different experience, and I thought it was something that if I could get in a place where it would mean something and it could make a difference. And like I told you earlier, every decision I've ever made, good or bad, it always seems to have worked out.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you're supposed to, you may not know it at the time, but this is supposed to happen.
Well, and at the time you come to Jackson, right now we're mid to late 30s.
Yeah, 35, I think.
We're a dad.
Yes.
Right? It's no longer about me.
Me, right.
It's about my family, my
Right.
kid. And now I see these kids who need that. I need to be about them.
Right, and I think that I still had enough drive, like that. I still had something to prove.
Right.
Even though we'd been in the playoffs and we've been to 2 schools, we've made good runs. I just felt like I need to really get in a situation where we could make this place a better place, like a gold mine. I mean, and everybody's like, what the heck? Like you said, people are like, what the heck is this guy doing?
Right.
Coming to take the job. But again, you make the job, you make it.
Yeah.
You make the job, you make it. And, I was fortunate there.
And it did take long.
No, everybody says, oh, you just showed up and rolled the balls out. No, you won 6 the first year. And it was like the funny story about the first year is we started 2-0. So we beat like Fletcher, and I don't even know who we beat the second time. And we started 2-0, and like all of a sudden they writing this big article. I mean, in the newspaper. I'm like, hey man, we may be 2-8. We don't need that. And I think it was Justin Barney. It might have been, and Justin was like, hey, if you 2-8, this is a great
probably
story.
Hayes back then.
Oh, it was Hayes.
Yeah.
Yes. It might have been. It could have been. It could have been.
Yeah.
And so whatever. And so I'm like, yeah, we might be 2-8. I don't, we stick it up on people. People think like, well, we lose 3 in a row and we're 2-3. And so we get to the open week and we win a couple more and I think we lose to Clay and we go 4-1 and out of the last 5. So we're getting ready to play Lee, big rival, Riverside now. And
in the
big
backyard
rival,
or at home?
At home.
Okay.
So we're at
Main
home.
Street.
And it was game 9. So we're, I guess, 4-3 maybe. And we are beating them like 28-0 at halftime. And my wife is standing at the fence with the principal. And my wife says to the principal, I'm really happy for these kids. This is awesome. The principal says, the kids, the heck with them. I'm happy for me. You know many years I've had to go in the principal meeting on Monday and all these principals got their chest out and I finally can go in and stick my chest out because we're beating people. And then we won the last one, beat West Nassau, I think, the last week, and then won 6 that first year.
Yeah. So great start, right?
Yes.
And that's the building block. That was the team that started it for where it would eventually take it. And
yes.
And again, quickly.
And that group, we started 10 sophomores on that team.
Right.
And so the next year we go 7-2. We lost a game to Hurricane, lost to Rains and Rebolt. The only year we beat Rebolt, the only year we lost to Rebolt, while I was there.
Really?
The only
I did
year.
not realize that.
Yes, we lost to Rebolt one time, and then we beat Rains every year into 2000. So we beat Rains in 2000 for the first time in like 17 years. And then only lost to him, I believe, one other time. I think 2002 we lost to him, and then I think 2007 we lost to him that year. And we beat him. And then we never lost the first coach, you know that.
Right. So
at Jackson.
Playoff-wise. So first playoff game is at Jackson.
First playoff game is year 2. We're 7-2. They have the at-large.
Right.
So
which is the Sully rule right now.
Yeah.
By now we're calling it the Sully rule.
Right. So we get the at-large, and we've gotten all the numbers and that, and we're going to Live Oak Swanee. That's what we think. It comes out, they send us the Pace in the Panhandle. Whew. And I'm like, we haven't been to the playoffs like 25 years, so they're going to send us the Pace in the Panhandle. Yeah. And we get waxed like 42-6. But it was okay because we were in the playoffs. And we took our kids, and again, that was second year of a group of kids that have been there, that have been getting their butt kicked, that were graduating, and was good. And so then we came back year 3, 9-1 regular season, 10-2, win the district for the first time in a playoff where we have to do a shootout. Yeah. So Rebolt's got 1 loss, we've got 1 loss, and Clay beat us, we beat Rebolt. Get to shootout, we host, we got the best record, right? So we get Clay first. So we come out and we drive down the field and score, and we muddle huddle. We got the guys over here and here, and our quarterback's a good athlete. And so we got 2 guys lined up at the center and the guard. And I told the kid, we're going to muddle huddle. I don't care. If they don't line up to it, Willie, you know what to do. You call Vernon's number 56. You walk up, quarterback sneak it. So we quarterback sneak for 2. They put 2 guys on our 2 guys. We turn them out. He jumps in the end zone. 8-0. The official runs over to me, points at me, and goes, "You got the biggest balls I've ever seen." And I'm like, "What?" Well, end up Clay scores late, got to go for 2, doesn't get it. We win 8-6, win the district first time school in 14, 15 years.
Okay.
And everybody's like, "Why'd you go for 2?" I'm like, "Are you kidding me?
Right.
What do we haven't won anything.
Yeah,
so what am I to do? Wait around and let my kicker, who's 50%, go for it?" It just happened. It worked out, and we won a playoff game. North Marion came in. It was the Leon senior year, and then we got beat by Lake City the next week.
Yeah. So you mentioned Leon.
Yeah.
Right? First special player you had at Jackson?
Yes.
I mean, and the legacy that he's left there, and I know how close you are with him. I mean, talk a little bit about Leon and what he meant to you as a coach, but more to that school.
So the story behind Leon Washington is, so Leon went to University Christian in 9th grade. Okay. And then he left and came to Jackson in 10th grade, but didn't play football in 10th grade. So we've got a lot of kids there. And he doesn't play that year. That was our second year. Gosh, we would have been really good the second year. So I'm on him. I see him in the hallway. I call him Pop Warner Legend. PWL. That's what I used to call Leon. PWL. see him in the hallway. And he was friends with a lot of our kids. You know, he just was working, had a car. He didn't know. He had a bad experience at UC for whatever reason. And, but, you know, we're winning. His buddies are playing. So he comes.
Well, football's finally cool at Jackson.
Yes.
It's cool to be a football player again.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I didn't treat him any different. The kid that didn't play for me, I talked trash to him, called him PWL. And so we come off January. He's in the weight class. And I'm like, hey, man, fresh start. Here we go. Let's get after it. Let's do this and that and whatnot. You know, every year I tell the kids, no matter what happened last year, January, we start the new year. Everybody fresh start. Whether I kicked you off the team you want to come back on or whether you quit, we start fresh. I don't hold a grudge. That's not me.
Right.
We got to start fresh. It's a new year.
Here's your next chance. Second chance, third chance, whatever it might be. Here's your next chance.
Right. Here's your next chance. You didn't make it through the season for whatever reason, but you got to go. So he comes and we're playing. We don't play in the spring because we get rained out. So we end up illegally scrimmaging rains at our place, but we'll go. That's a whole nother great story. And so we end up coming in the fall. Orange Park comes to our place to play. So we go 3 and out first drive, and Leon goes in the punt from our goal line. It's a bad snap. He picks it up. He's 99 in the house.
99.
Coming by our sideline, makes the guy catching the ball, the return guy,
yeah.
He's the last guy. He just shooks and put him inside. I'm like, holy crap, this son of a bitch is good. Yeah, I'm going to be a good coach next couple of years.
Yeah, good players make good coaches.
Yes.
More to come with Josh and Coach Sully when After the Game continues, including why Sullivan left Jackson for another gig here in Jacksonville. It's a new logo, new branding. With Bold City Heating and Air, it's an old school approach. One of the few locally owned and operated air conditioning businesses left in Jacksonville. It's hot, Florida in the summer. You can't do much to avoid it, but you can keep cool with Bold City Heating and Air. It's every customer counts kind of service, from when these trucks have pulled up to my home over the last couple of years and when they pull into your driveway as well. From communication to pricing to the actual service, everyone at Bold City Heating and Air cares about you. You know who's coming to your house. You know they will be well trained and they will respect your home. Air conditioning convenience at boldcityac.com. Stay cool while it gets hot. Bold City Heating and Air can help. Don't get caught sweating all summer. boldcityac.com, and they have financing to help. New systems starting at $110 a month and $50 off any repairs. Stay safe, stay comfortable with Bold City Heating and Air at boldcityac.com. Homegrown in your hometown.
It's hard to put a price on comfort, especially when you use that comfort on a daily basis. But if we're going to put a price on it, how does the lowest price guaranteed sound? Furniture Source is going to have the biggest brands, whether it's Ashley, Casper, or Tempur-Pedic, and once again, it's going to be the guaranteed lowest price in Jacksonville. Right now, my friends at Furniture Source are going to give you the ultimate hookup because all month long, they're making their inventory wholesale price. Check out their markdowns up to 50% off. And remember, since it's Furniture Source, you're getting the guaranteed lowest prices in Florida or your money back. Don't have the cash on you right now? It's no worry. Shop endless options to suit your style and budget and enjoy 36 months off with no interest financing. Why use your money when you can use theirs? Whether it's beds, couches, tables, or chairs, Furniture Source is going to have exactly what you're looking for. Shop the lowest prices in Jacksonville guaranteed. Find the location nearest you at FurnitureSourceJacks.com.
In high school coaching, a lot of the good stories come after the game. Sit back, watch, and listen to the journeys to the sideline and the stories of high school coaches. After the Game, presented by Baker Sports and High School 912.
All right, Coach, I can't let it pass.
All right.
Illegal scrimmage with rain. Spring game gets rained out. Illegal. I've heard this story, so I need everybody else to hear it.
So we're at Ed White, and it rains, and we get rained out in the spring. And so, we're second year. And, Welton Coffey's the coach at Rains. He's the golden child, right?
Golden child. State champion coach.
I said, well,
golden
why don't you guys just come back to our place? One of my coaches, Johnny Mike, was a cop, and so we'll have a cop there. I said, we'll just do a controlled scrimmage. I go, we don't need any officials. You take care of your guys, take care of our guys, and we'll get after it. So So he says yes. I'm like, oh, and my coach like, Coach, we're gonna get fired. I go, it's Weldon Coffee. They're not firing Weldon
They're not
Coffee.
firing him. They
They're
can't
not
fire
firing
us.
me. I said, we're good. We'll do it. So they come back, and we have basically he goes controlled scrimmage. He does like 15, 20 plays, and then we jump over on offense, go 15, 20 plays. Kids hug up. They get on the bus and roll. So Monday I come into school. My principal's like, hey, I need to see you. I'm like, oh, okay. He goes, how did you guys come back to the field and scrimmage range on Friday night? I'm like, yeah. You know you can't do that. I go, what do you mean? He goes, well, you didn't have an ambulance there. And I said, yeah, but we had a cop. He goes, oh, you did? I go, yeah. Yeah, Johnny Mike. He was a cop. He was in uniform. He goes, oh, okay, well, how'd we do? I go, we did well.
We did well.
He goes, okay, don't do that again.
All right, thumbs up. Don't do it again. That's awesome. All right, so Leon makes the debut, right? Picks the punt up, 99 to the house, and from there, I mean, just a great story.
Yeah, just his junior year. So I had a 1,300-yard rusher come back, Sidney Mofford, who was a senior.
That's right.
Leon's a junior, right? So I'm a real loyal guy to my guys. So Leon plays our Z. So when our flanker, we move him around. We run reverses with him. He'll get in the backfield. He'll spill Sidney. It just gave us a different dimension. And plus, he turned around and played. At that time, he played. I want to say he played corner for us. That's a lot to do, playing corner running back. So we brought him in at wide out, and we'd throw quick hitches, make guys miss. He'd be down the field, and he jumped over and played defense, and he punted for us, which he did both years. And so that year, he'd get about 6 or 8 running back touches, and he was good because that kid was his buddy. They were buddies. There was great competition. We'd rotate them. They were fine.
And he's a team guy.
Right, and it was fine. So this is how I knew that we were going to be a good team. We were playing Rains that year, and we hadn't beat Rains in, I think, 17 years at that time. And we're winning the game trying to run the clock out. And it's 4th and 3 from about the 35 going in. And we get in a formation and run toss. The kid at running back, Sidney Mofford, switches with Leon. So Leon touches the ball at running back, and he goes to the wideout spot.
Selflessness,
Want to
win, wore out,
want to win.
He's better.
Yes.
All of the above?
All the above.
That's awesome.
And that, to me, set our character, whatever.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Right? Culture, the
culture,
word they use
now. That was our culture. That kid thought enough. Now, that kid went on and played at Indiana State, was a 3-year starter.
Yeah,
he
good
wasn't
player.
no slouch.
Yeah.
But he knew that our best chance to win that game was to get that ball in Leon Washington's hands.
And he got the first down.
And he got the first down. And we run the clock out. And then you thought we won the Super Bowl. Men are jumping the fence, running out, lifting us up. It was awesome.
Yeah. I mean, you beat Rains, right? At that point, like you said, 17 years, and that was kind of I think that, being here and being in the football community, I think that was the point when the city, the area, it's like, whoa,
yeah,
all right, Jackson's for real.
Yeah, because
we should have
beat them the year before.
Right.
We drove the field. We were 98. That's another good story. They tied it. They kick off. They take the lead by 7. They kick off to us. We fumble the extra point. We fumble the kickoff. We get tackled on the 5. So I tell Matt Allen, Matt, what are we going to do? He's like, my phones aren't working. And I'm like, never mind. I got it. I call it. Boom, we catch Carl Walker on a pass down the sideline. We end up scoring, go for 2, get it. And we go up with like a minute left, 22-21. And they come back and beat us because we check out of a call. With one of our kids checked out of the call that we said we weren't checking out of. Trips open, we weren't checking the call. We were playing what was called, and he checked it. The kid ran through the seam, out jumped our kid, scored with like 5 seconds.
And what year was that?
99.
That was the year they won it, right? Or was it?
No, they won it 98. They beat us 14-0 at home
in 98.
98, yeah. And so 99 we should have beat them, and then we beat them at our place in 2000. It was wild.
Right. And in 2001, right? 2001, big year. Dairy Farmers Coach of the Year.
Right.
I mean, is that kind of when you felt like, all right, I'm accomplished now as a coach? Now, how did that change your career? Did it change it at all?
No, not really. It just sort of proved the point, like, that you set out to achieve a goal
Right.
as a coach, as our team, as our kids, and we did that. You know, we made a good run that year. It was a lot of fun. We went undefeated, you know, for the first time in a long time at Jackson in the regular season, and you know, so then and we had a good run.
And the success that you guys had on the field translated off the field
Yes.
for some of those kids too, right?
Yeah, without a doubt. A lot of kids in school. A lot of kids were going to college. We were getting the kids in. Just a lot of positive things happening and going on.
Yeah, I mean, you had changed the whole culture of the school.
Right.
We talked about, right?
Yeah.
They went from being nobody wants to be there, it's not happy in the hallways, to Friday night's a big deal, and,
Yeah.
and everybody loves a winner.
Everybody loves a winner, and we just, you know, we kept our kids and try to tell them that, you know, you got to love your school. First off, no matter
Right.
where you're at, you got to love your school. You love your school, you'll do whatever you got to do it. And, you know, we grind our kids with the camps and all that other stuff. The thing that I liked about what we did back then, and it was before the social media stuff, was we ran our program. I didn't have to say, oh, we're taking our kids to Florida. We got pictures. You know, we took pictures. I put them on my wall, you know, like the 15 kids went to University of Florida camp and the linemen went to Down and Dirty. We wear our jerseys, you know, and I let the linemen wear their Down and Dirty jerseys as a badge of honor, you know, type of thing. So it was good. It was good.
All right. So short stint at Jackson. I guess not a short stint at Jackson.
Right.
Take a little break.
Yeah.
All right. Go hang out with Marty for
Yeah,
a year.
yeah.
Hang out with Marty for a year, have a lot of fun, then come back to Jackson.
Come back to Jackson.
Okay. How was it different the second time?
Well, it changed fast,
Yeah.
which I tell people all the time. If you've got somebody successful and then don't hire somebody, it'll change fast.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of those kids have been there. They were all 10th graders, so the senior group. And but we'd lost a whole group of kids, like the 9th grade kids. So we had to go in and basically do it again.
Right.
You know, in 03, we made the playoffs. Corky and them beat us in the first round. We went 5-5. And then the next year, we started 1-3. And Thursday, best day of the week, started.
All right. I wasn't quite going there yet, but now we have to. It's a great story. So your favorite saying is Thursday's the best day of the week. You still tweet it to this day.
Yes, to this day. And so we start 1-3 in that year. And we got a good team. We just don't have a lot. Mike Hicks ended up going at Ole Miss. But played quarterback in DB for us. Great kid, top 5% of the class. And so we started 1-3. So we used to watch film after the game on Friday and then go home, get home like 1, 2 in the morning, and then come in the next day or Sunday, meet, get ready to thing, and go and blah, blah, blah. So we're 1-3, and they're like, all right, Coach. I go, no, we're not doing that. We're not doing it. We're going to the bar. Like, what do you mean we're going to the bar? I said, we're going to the bar. So we go to the bar, and we go to the Tip Top for the first time on a Friday night. So everybody, we have a couple of drinks after the game, sort of unwind, and we talk as a staff about different things and that, but more social and stuff. And so then coming in, I don't know, we were playing, get ready to play, and so I'm like, Thursday after practice, we're going to the game. Thursday's the best day of the week. I said, everything's done. We've got our work done. The kids know Thursday we run on the field for an hour and 15 minutes.
Short practice.
In and out, short practice. It's fun. It's upbeat. Everybody's ready. We're 1-3. We're going to Tip Top on Thursday. So we go to the Tip Top Thursday afternoon after practice. Thursday, best day of the week. We win.
Yeah.
Right? So we're
That's right.
2-3. Next Thursday, best day of the week. We win. So we end up rolling 8 in a row. 2 rounds in the playoffs, get beaten in the semis by the best Bulls teams one of the best Bulls teams I've ever seen.
Correct.
And that's how Thursday, best of the week came. So Dickie Palmer's coaching the O-line with me. We're on the field. We're on the field like 1 hour and 20 minutes. What are we doing? It's Thursday, best day of the week. We got to go, coach. Let's, you know what I mean? So
Right.
so it took
The whole
on.
time
It's
the
like,
kids have no idea.
no idea.
Yeah.
They think it's because practice is over and everybody goes home early. We're going to the bar, you know? So that's how Thursday, and so it just became you know what day it is. Thursday, best day of the week, and that became like our battle cry. When we went to Atlantic Coast, same thing. In the thing, I blow the whistle and say, "You know what day it is?" And all the kids would yell, "Thursday, best day of the week." So that's how it started, and that's how it's been.
That's hilarious. And it's still there.
Yep.
Still there. So, all right, so you mentioned Atlantic Coast, right? So kind of revive Jackson again.
Right.
Now let's go do something new again.
Right. So, we had a principal change my last 2 years. Mm-hmm. We went 22-2 at Jackson, and it was probably the most miserable in the building as it could be. So Atlantic Coast opened, and contrary to popular belief, I did not know I was getting the job in the middle of the season, which was sad, but because I'd never talked to the principal, Deborah Lynch, and it was time. I felt it was time. It was still in the area. My kids were in high school at the time, still in the area. So I said, hey, why not? Let's do it. Let's see what we can do. So,
yeah. So, and you have experience from the Atlantic days, opening a new school. So how fast did Atlantic Coast come together? How fast were you able to pull it together as a team? Staff?
So staff-wise, it was we were able to get most of the guys from Jackson in. So staff-wise, it was pretty good. We had like 9 schools. Basically, we were pulling from between Mandarin and Englewood and Providence. I think we got a lot of Providence kids that came. Mm-hmm. Then some Fletcher kids, of course, because that was sort of the split. Mandarin, of course. So it was different because they weren't used to working like we were used to working on Main Street. Yeah. We had a saying, man, you guys wouldn't get off the bus on Main Street. That was our joke. But we just coached it the same way. I mean, I hate to say it, like the kids thought we were crazy. We grind, we condition, we do a bunch of different things. But I did learn a few different things at Atlantic Coast that helped us with like our prep and stuff. We did all our conditioning before practice, so we'd stretch and condition right away. Yeah. That's one of the things I thought we did great there because those kids were not used to the grind, so we would stretch. And if we were running our gassers, then we knock all our gassers out then. Right. And then go to practice. Yeah. And then they'd recover, practice, be great practice, great spirit. And
being around you during that time, I really felt like that was when you kind of switched to, all right, let me be a mentor to some of these coaches. Right. And started, your tree had started. We mentioned the Coach Smith tree, right? Right. Now, you've got a pretty successful coaching tree as well, and I really felt like when you got to Atlantic Coast, that's where you realized it.
Yeah, and I think I realized a couple different things as far as the kids make fun of me because they say, man, you got soft, Coach. You came out here to the country club, and you got soft out there. And I think I was more in tune with what we were dealing with as far as social media was just coming on, the different pressures that the kids face. It's not so much being on some kid's highlight. Now it's out on everybody's highlight. You know what I mean? Like you get beat for a touchdown pass and you're in great position. Kid makes a play and you're on his highlight, and that's when the huddle all was starting coming into Atlantic Coast. I'm dead set against it. I don't want nobody to get my film, coming out. We were VCRing it, making copies, DVDing it, making copies. Now it's all push of a button stuff, so it became easier. Yeah. In my last year at Atlantic Coast, we laugh about it. My last year there, we never even met on the weekends. After about week 4, the coaches, we never even met. And we won like 4 or 5 down the stretch in a row.
You didn't have to be there. You could do the film study, everything you need to do for your position group or coordinators wise from home. Yeah,
and it was a good. Like I said, it was fun. We had success. Heck, we beat Reigns there at Atlantic Coast. We didn't make the playoffs there, but we had my last year. We're 8-2, 7-3. Never had a losing season there in the 5 years I was the head coach. Put a lot of kids in school. Yeah. It was. I got inducted to the Hall of Fame while I was on that staff based on the overall picture what we've accomplished everywhere we've been. So, a lot of good memories. A lot of those places.
Yeah, well, heck of a career, and I may be the only one at this table between me and you, but I hope it's not over. I hope one day you can resurface on that sideline. Maybe it's helping one of the young guys that,
Yeah, I don't know, Josh. My wife, she missed a lot of North Carolina leaves all those years.
I understand.
And
Well, you and I could talk for 2 hours.
Yes.
I mean, we could sit here easily and talk for 2 hours. But episode 1, and I mentioned earlier, you're going to be the co-host.
Right.
Help
Yeah, I'm
me
looking
with
forward
this,
to it.
with this new venture, and I'm looking forward to it. Can't thank you enough for everything you've done for me over the years as well. And, we talked earlier a little something that we want to start here with episode 1 is, a final question of through what you've learned through all the years. If you could go back and tell rookie head coach Sully one thing, what would you share with him?
I'd probably share enjoy the small things more. Enjoy the kid that you watched in 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, senior year, watch him develop. Enjoy the little moments of the battles because in the end, at the beginning it was gone, hurt people's feelings, well, too bad. But enjoy being around the kids because that's what I miss now. Right. I miss the coaching a little, but I miss more being around the kids.
Right.
And just the everyday being around the kids. Right. That's what I do. So I'd enjoy the little things as you progress through your journey.
Well, and you start to realize as you get older, right, when you see the guys, that you meant more to them than just the Reigns game.
Right.
They may talk about the Reigns game, but to you, Coach, man, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Without you, I wouldn't be where I am. And those are the things that, you need to enjoy. Enjoy the process.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I can't say enough, young coaches, especially nowadays, the kids need you more now than ever.
Man, that's some good advice.
Firmly believe that.
So true.
The kids need you now. There's so much going on in their lives now that you don't even know about. They need you more now than ever, coaches.
So many distractions with social media and what's going on in society. You're right. They need good men.
Yes.
They need good leadership from good men. Well, you're a good man, and
Thank
I
you.
appreciate everything that you've done here, and I can't wait to look forward to the next episode and sharing this venture with you.
Awesome,
Thanks so
man.
much, Coach. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
When you think sports, you think Action Sports Jacks, the official station of the Jaguars, on location for every game. But the most experienced team in town doesn't stop there. From high school football to the big events in the area, Action Sports Jacks is always on. Now, we take that to a new level. Action Sports Jacks 24/7 is around-the-clock coverage of the teams you love and the moments you can't miss. The best local sports in Jacksonville on Action Sports Jacks 24/7.
We all have our favorite spots in town to eat, drink, and have a good time. And once in a while, we try a new spot. This new spot will soon become your favorite spot. It's 1937 Spirits and Eatery in San Marco. Where else can you get unicorn fish? It was really good. They have local fresh seafood. Try a terrific burger or a Jack's Hot Chicken sandwich. The ambiance is perfect for any occasion. The idea here is to have fun, have a good time. Whether you're chilling out on the couches, cozying up to the bar, having lunch or dinner, it's a throwback experience. 1937, when going out to dinner was like going to a party. They even have a photo booth. Who doesn't like a good photo booth? We recently brought the entire team out to try it, and everyone said, I'm bringing my significant other here to try it as well. The new spot becomes your favorite spot. Make 1937 Spirits and Eatery in San Marco your new favorite spot.
Oh man, it is that time. I love being outside, but it is just so hot. Oh my gosh, I cannot be outside. Well, it doesn't have to be. As a matter of fact, I've got the perfect solution for you to be able to stay outdoors and not look like this guy.
GW Outdoor Solutions has the solution that will help you create areas of shade with their automated retractable awning. As the summer months inch closer, the high temperatures will be right there too. With GW Outdoor Solutions, go from scorching to cooling in no time with one simple push of a button. These innovative shade solutions not only provide protection from the sun and rain, but also add style and functionality to your home. Let GW Outdoor Solutions transform your backyard into paradise. Check out GWOutdoorLiving.com for your free estimate.